53, Byron Smith will wake up this morning behind bars where he will likely be for the rest of his life. A jury found him guilty yesterday of murdering two teen cousins on Thanksgiving Day back in 2012. Smith's attorney says they are already planning to appeal the conviction on first and second-degree murder charges. Prosecutors argued that Smith baited the teens, Haley Kiefer and Nick Brady, waiting with two loaded guns to ambush them. Smith claims self-defense. Joining us this morning is Christa Groshek with Groshek Law. Thanks for being here again, Christa.
Thank you.
We've enjoyed kind of getting your analysis on this. You are a defense attorney. When you hear that the jury's back with a verdict in 3 hours, I think the presumption is that would work in your favor.
Yes. When I heard the jury was back in this case in such a short period of time, I was hoping that there could be a not guilty verdict for Mr. Smith. Generally speaking, those short time periods of deliberation are good for defense.
So were you surprised as to how this played out?
I was, very much so.
How so?
Well, I think there was a possibility, at least so it seemed, that there could be a conviction on the lesser charges, the second degree. There was a possibility of a hung jury. We talked about how there was an NRA member on the jury. Some thought that person might sway or attempt to sway some of the other members or hold out. And then, of course, there was a possibility of total acquittal because this case is being tried in front of a world jury that might really hold tight to this idea that my house is my castle.
Protecting your home.
Right.
Tell me a little bit of your thoughts on how the audio recordings, these tapes that he made, sort of affected things.
Devastating. These audio recordings were absolutely devastating to the defense's case. And Mr. Smith didn't take the stand to explain why he said the things he did in the manner in which he did. And I think that also had a very negative impact on his case.
Would you have put him on the stand?
Well, I don't know everything about the case,
Sure.
so, and of course we know that he was convicted, so it's easy for me to say yes.
Right.
My inclination last week when we were talking about this was
yes.
Yes, that he needed to testify, that the jurors needed to get inside of his head, they needed to see the world from his point of view, and that might have allowed him to make a connection with them.
Right. Well, his attorney did try to have other people sort of describe him and paint his character in a certain way, but they never did hear that from him. The only thing the jury heard from him were these audio tapes.
Right, and it was the audio tapes of the event, but also he gave audio tape statements to the police in which he said a number of damaging things about how he wanted to just finish them off.
Well, Christa, we appreciate your time, and we're not going to let you leave yet. And I know it's early, but we're going to have you stick around for our 6 o'clock hour. We want to talk specifically about an appeal in this case.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
We do have extended coverage on the Byron Smith trial at KSTP.com. It includes a behind-the-scenes recap and the uncut news conference following the guilty verdict and the sentencing.